All right, casual video here today. I ended up watching all the anime in Crunchyroll's Anime of the Year nominees, and I figured I'd just talk about them for which ones I enjoyed, which ones I didn't, which one I dropped, but it's okay because I read the manga and it's much better there. Starting with the technically correct answer in terms of storytelling, characters, animation, literally everything, the best of the year, and that is going to be Frieren because by God, this anime is perfect, and I do not say that lightly. This will be studied for how good it is and will be a classic anime going forward. My God, it's so good. Frieren Beyond Journey's End follows an elf after she has already completed a journey with the heroes party, defeat the Demon King. They completed their adventure. And what happens after as the lifespan of the different individuals, dwarves, humans, and elves are so vastly different, she is going to live centuries longer than her friends in the party. And she didn't come to appreciate the time she had with them until it was too late. And now she is going to retrace those steps with a new group who she will care for and grow to love and has a connection with her original party's group as she comes to appreciate the moments that she did have with her friends, to learn about them more, to appreciate them, and the concept of appreciating time and not taking it for granted, and the beauty in these mundane moments. I cannot tell you, like, I was half in tears at the idea of sour grapes and spending weeks and months looking for this particular flower because it is the correct one to have. It is absolutely beautiful. The fights are also amazing. Frieren is completely overpowered. She is training her new group to be a absolute menace. The demons in this story is like nothing. I'm so happy with them. I love quite literally everything about Frieren, and everyone should watch it. I am very, very annoyed at some reviews I've seen. It's like, oh, it gets good around episode 10. It was good at episode. It was a masterpiece by episode 1. So I don't know what anyone who says otherwise talked about. Everyone can have their own opinion, their own values. They prefer different focuses. But this was mine. Character focus, beautiful themes. Every episode develops the theme so much. The idea of like time and memory and legacy and human connection and friendship, it's all perfect. Now, while Frieren is arguably the correct answer for what is the best anime of the year, it's actually not going to be my pick because my pick was the Apothecary Diaries. I fell in love with this series. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't start it till like season 1 was basically finished. Like I think there was like 2 episodes left coming out, maybe. And I thought it was going to be some harem anime with a bunch of courtesans, and I didn't think it would be for me. The trailer steered me wrong. And then I gave it a shot. And it was the most beautiful thing in terms of animation and the most depth in characters I've seen, like, are, in my opinion, even more so than Frieren. Following Mao Mao, as she has been kidnapped and put into the rear palace where the harem of the emperor is. And she is with the concubines who all have such detail to them, their personalities, their character, their dreams, what they want from this. A very much political message, focusing on class and gender roles. And what got me into this series was very simply her looking to the main guy in this one who has all the power over her, who respects her like crazy because she is brilliant. She's an apothecary, her knowledge of poisons and medicines, and just a vast number of interests and knowledge that she can draw from to help solve the problems within the rear palace is like nothing else. She's invaluable. She looks at him and just goes, if you wanted to, you could have me killed for no other reason than you said so. Doesn't matter what I do wrong. I know what my life is worth here. And again, you cannot get past the politics and social classes, gender equality that is, or gender inequality that is happening at this time. She's knowledgeable, she's funny. The Apothecary Diaries is flawless, in my opinion. I binged all of season 1 in one sitting, could not stop. Season 2 came out recently. I watched 2 or 3 episodes. I'm like, you know what? I'm not really getting into this one. It's a little different. It's a little bit of a different vibe. Then in no time, I binged all of it because it's not quite finished yet. But my God, I think I love season 2 even more than season 1. Please watch The Apothecary Diaries. Dun dun dun. This was another one that I absolutely adored, but it just, near flawless. The only issue I have being there are some elements of vulnerability, sexual assault committed against a minor that is very important to the themes of the story, but I feel it could have been presented more eloquently, didn't have to feel fan servicey, gross. The presentation just could have been different. We could have implied some things. We could have showed it from different angles. It didn't have to be shown as it was. That's my only thing. Not that it was there, just how it was presented on screen. You got to be a little bit more classy with something like that. Idea is very simple. There are two characters, they're adorable, they're in love, they're idiots in love, and neither one will admit that they're in love with each other. And that's what I'm taking from it, but there is more to that. So you have, Momo is the main female character. She very much believes in the occult and ends up getting spiritual powers. Then you have who she calls Okarun, who very much believes in aliens, and they kind of swap investigations. He's got to go hunting for a ghost, evil spirit. She's got to go hunting for aliens. Turns out they're both real. They get into wacky adventures. The characters are so over the top funny and adorable. You just love spending time with them, and it really focuses on the heart of characters, different traumas. It's an adolescence coming of age story from the emotions of like high schoolers feel very real, and I think if I was a little younger I would have appreciated this so much more. The emotions all feel so intense, everything is so over the top, and you're coming to learn about yourself. Sexuality is coming about, and puberty, and it's all coming at such a time with hormones and everything. It just feels true to the high school experience, in my opinion. There's a clashing of belief systems, there's insecurities, but it's just like found family love, and it is absolutely adorable. The soundtrack, the music, everything is over the top perfect. This, like, I normally I skip intros. This one I did not skip the intro for. Solo Leveling is the next one I want to talk about, and that one was over-the-top action, more so in Season 2. I know Season 1 is just what the Crunchyroll awards are for, but still, I'm still going to mention Season 2 because it came out so recently. But Solo Leveling, dungeons are opening up, little portals to dungeons, and people have to go in, raid them, clear them, or else the dungeon will break and monsters will come out and attack society. So definitely a focus on protecting others and sacrificing for the good of others. Season 1 I actually very much appreciate for the little elements of world building that it did do. Stuff like, say, could prisoners get time off their sentence if they volunteer to go into dungeons to clear, kind of thing. And there is focus on individuals and the post-traumatic stress of going into dungeons, the risk of dying, leaving your family behind, but you have no choice. This is the job that will support your family the best. Stuff like that. Little moments that are done very well, but the main focus is Jinwoo, who is an E-class hunter, the lowest of the low. There is no way to elevate your hunter rank. And he ends up the wacky situation and traumatizing situation, being the only one who can level up, and he is now at a class all his own where he can solo entire dungeons, and you're just watching him do incredible, amazing things, everyone looking in awe around him, all the girls falling in love with him, and all the guys idolizing him. The conflict, I don't know what the conflict is. Consequences for actions beats the hell out of me. Where the story's going to go from here. There's a little bit of a mystery component, just enough to keep me entertained and interesting, and it is very good at being what it wants to be. It wants to be an action, over-the-top anime that sucks you in and you can turn your brain off and just have a fantastic, enjoyable time, and it does that incredibly well. Are the characters well developed? No. They got just enough to not be too boring, and are the themes well developed? There are themes. I mean, sacrifice and responsibility and privileged people can be put in desperate situations to make good for their family, and if they don't, the government's not going to help them. I guess it's not the focus, but it's there. Listen, it's not trying to be anything above what it is, which was my issue with Kaiju number 8. By the end, I didn't dislike this season, but I also only started it and watched it because I had ended up watching all the other nominees. I'm like, I can't just leave out this one. I might as well watch it. The first 3-ish episodes, I despised. Oh my god, the humor was so juvenile to me. The premise is very simple. Kaiju number 8 is a story about a guy who originally is just in a cleanup crew after like kaiju monster attacks. You have the defense force, they attack the monsters, the carcass is left behind, someone got to clean it up. So I knew nothing about this going in. I knew that setup premise, and I thought we would be following him throughout the entire time just on the cleanup crew. But no, he wants to be part of the defense force and has tried many, many times to become a part of it, only he fails the application process every single year. And he had given up. A new guy comes around, revitalizes his dream, and I thought the story, and the story tells us what it wants to be, is a man who's like 32, I think, and not knowing your place in society, not feeling good enough, feeling like everyone's always ahead of you, watching those that you grew up with surpass you in their career field, and you feel like you're staying still in a rut, stuck. All that's very relatable. That time in your life where you don't think you should be where you actually are, and you want more, but you don't feel like you deserve it, that you can achieve it, and you give up your dream and settle in this place that you're in, not wanting to grow, and then finally making the decision that it's not too late, I can achieve my dreams, and working towards it and never giving up. No matter who is outclassing him, no matter what anyone else is doing, that doesn't affect how he views himself, and he wants to improve himself for his dream, not for anyone else. And that is really good. Except it was driving me crazy that he had the personality of a 12-year-old. The only reason I know this man's 31, 32, however old he is because the story told me so. Otherwise, I would say he has the emotional regulation of a 12-year-old, groveling, crying, just all these little cutaways to those over dramatic moments, and it's just him, tears streaming down his eyes, blubbering. I swear, emotional regulation. This man never heard of it. He feels like a 12-year-old. This shonen feels very young on the shonen side of things. This is not a shonen that, hey, almost feels like a seinen. This is a younger shonen. And it wouldn't have bugged me too much if I was reading the manga. I feel like those panels of just those over-the-top emotion funny bits work better for me in manga because it doesn't overstay its welcome to me. But it also would have felt more in place if it didn't seem like it had this focus of, we have a mature character who is outliving his dreams. There's nothing separating him from a 12-year-old. Oh, and then a kaiju thing shoves itself down his throat. Now he can transform into a kaiju monster, so he fights the other ones, and he's able to get on the defense force, but he can't let anyone know that he can turn into the monster, because then they will execute him. That's also happening. But the other side characters are phenomenal in this. Quite literally, I think every side character. Maybe not his best friend, the greatest fighter that's in this generation, just because she hasn't had much time and personality. She's very stoic, but she didn't have much screen time. Every other character, beautiful. The team that he's in, the bonds that they form very quickly, excellent. Love it. No complaints. My favorite, well, not my favorite, one of my favorites gets a giant axe at one point, and it's beautiful. Yeah, no, I don't think I'll watch season 2. And I have other manga that I would prefer to read than this one. I don't dislike it. It just, the humor was not for me. But the story and the characters, with the exception of the protagonist, definitely was for me. So we'll see. Maybe season 2. Doubt I'm going to have time for the manga. Maybe. Finally, there is Delicious in Dungeons. And I know everybody loved this one. They love it so, so, so much. I'm in the minority here. I did not like the anime. In fact, I could not finish it. I dropped the anime. I did switch to the manga. The manga works so much better for me. I flew through the entire series. Loved the manga. The anime I had to drop just for the focus. So the idea is a group of adventurers are going through a dungeon. One of the members is eaten by a dragon, and they have to get to the lower levels. But one of the main limiting resources is the fact that they keep running out of food, and you gotta carry everything you go down with. So said hero believes the best idea will be fight the monsters, cook and eat the monsters so you can continue on, because then you gotta good food source. And the focus on biology and ecosystem and balance, that was all expertly done. Loved, loved, loved that focus. The characters, I think I had the same issue with humor as I did Kaiju number 8. They had these cutaway gags where someone had an over dramatic facial expression. It was very cartoony's the wrong word, but that anime style where it's cutaway gag. humor. And I'm just like, there was too many of them. Maybe they lasted a second or two so too long. It worked better in the manga because I could just see that panel, move on, compared to waiting for that scene to end on the anime. It doesn't really matter. That's not my only issue. There was also, like, one of the gags was always, ooh, that's so gross, I'm not eating it, and then they ate it. Lloyd, the main character, his obsession with eating monsters, like, he really, really wants to cook and eat monsters from childhood. Like, that's his purpose. That's why he wants to go into this dungeon. Was the main focus, main drive of this character. And it would have been a perfectly fine character trait for me if the character who was kidnapped and eaten by the dragon that they're trying to get to quickly before intestinal juices dissolves everything and they can't regenerate her, was not his sister, or if no one had just been eaten by a dragon, they just really want to get to something at the base level. But the fact that I want the focus to be that his sister, the other party member's good friend or best friend, that be the focus. We have to get to her. I wanted that to be the focus, but it seemed like everything took a back seat to, I really want to eat this. I really want to go into that painting and eat that food. I get they couldn't just rush through it. Although in my defense, I said before, like, I really want them to hurry to get to her. I didn't mean rush through because you can't go too fast of a pace in this dungeon. I would have liked to see them try, realize that's a failure, realizing going too slow isn't an option, so they have to find that balance. Balance is a big theme in this story. Again, ecosystems being thrown out of balance by too many adventures, over hunting, etc. All those messy stuff that's happening. Such a focus that you would think the pace that they are traveling through the dungeon would have been brought up, that they would have tried and failed to rush through, which I guess they did at the end, but not with the effort of trying to get to the sister. But again, getting to the sister is not the point. Eating the monsters is the point. The focus is just slightly skewed enough for me. Doesn't matter. Everyone else loved this. I'm aware it's fantastic, just not for me. Manga-wise, beautiful, love it, recommend reading it. And again, I still had that issue, though, with eating monsters and the love he has for monsters, even in the manga, is the focus rather than his love for his sisters. It's like, monsters, sister. So close. But what can you do? And that leads me to the Crunchyroll's decision for Anime of the Year. What the hell is wrong with people? We are in the dark timeline because how the hell did Solo Leveling win? I realize this was hyped to high hell. I realize Season 2 gives them the recency bias. But for Solo Leveling to win Anime of the Year, when it just does one thing, execute it brilliantly, and that is the animation fight scene hype moments. Character work, no, not important for Anime of the Year. Story, not important for Anime of the Year. Themes, not important for Anime of the Year. I don't get it. But this is also why I put zero faith in online polls and their value. I read the Goodreads Choice Award every year. Most of them are mediocre at best, so it's fine. All right, that is all I got. Talk to you later. There have been some phenomenal anime this year. Obligatory cut-in just because apparently people need to hear you say this, or they get mad, but obviously people are entitled to their own opinion, and you're definitely not wrong for voting for the series that you personally enjoyed the most. Doesn't have to have the best story or characters or any criteria whatsoever other than you had the most fun watching this one over something else, or something just wasn't for you. Again, I didn't like Delicious in Dungeons. I clearly have very bad taste. All right,